What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers. Back in the day, he was all SWAC. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we got our NFL draft expert, enthusiast, whatever else you want to call it. You can catch all his work at NBC Sports Chicago. He's Glenn Morgan. He's our GM. Gentlemen, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Doing XL Fabulous.
Yeah. My new favorite football league.
I do. I think I'm with you on that one.
I heard Mike Wilbon was giving them a little static, saying that it was worthless football and he wouldn't watch. I found it entertaining, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later on. Get to that later on. Let's start off with what was supposed to be the lead sporting event of the weekend, the NBA All-Star Weekend, and it was snooze fest.
Snooze.
I mean, you have the entire weekend. Nothing else is going on other than the Daytona 500, right? Nothing else in sports is going on. And to lay an egg like that's disappointing, man. Totally disappointing.
Let me ask you a question. Could it possibly be the venue? I mean, Salt Lake City? I mean, should the All-Star game just be in certain cities?
That has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with the effort that was given during the weekend. Well, outside. Wait. Let's give them kudos. Give them kudos to Mac McClung.
Okay,
he did a really good job in the slam dunk contest.
He had a good showing.
He had a good showing.
The problem with that is Mac McClung is not in the NBA.
Exactly.
Technically speaking, he's not in the NBA. So that's an issue. You know, he's a YouTube legend from AAU in high school, which, by the way, he was freaking awesome. I remember watching a lot of those videos back in the day, but he's not in the NBA. So your top stars aren't competing in the marquee event of All-Star Saturday, right? Yeah, 3-point contest was the skills competition
was trash.
I mean, how many All-Stars were actually in the skills competition?
Drew Holiday,
All-Star.
Antetokounmpo,
Yes.
The brothers. They're all not All-Stars, just one of them. So it's disappointing. And no, I don't think. Yes, maybe the partying suffered in Utah.
I think like everything suffered in Utah. I want to go back for a second. You said YouTube star. You gave him his flowers. I mean, I can't be a Madden star and get no flowers. I mean, what the hell, man?
He was really on YouTube. You know, it was actually him making those moves, not a video game. Right.
I had to do my thumbs, the controllers, man.
Okay.
Make it do what it do. We gotta make it do what it do, baby. You gotta make it do what it do.
Yeah.
Dude, you keep saying maybe Salt Lake City has something to do. I think Salt Lake City did have a little bit something to do with it, man. I mean, who was I'm gonna turn into Joakim Noah for a second. Who was going to Salt Lake City on vacation?
I mean, I went to Cleveland last year.
A lot of people go there. They go to
I went to
All-Star
weekend last year.
The best. Hey, hold on. You talk about All-Star Weekend, the best film festival in the world, well, maybe the second best to Cannes or Cannes, whatever it is called.
Yeah.
Sundance is held in Utah.
Okay.
Right?
Everything you said didn't sound like basketball to me. because skiing involves a certain demographic that doesn't
The
necessarily
best
involve
movie stars somehow end up in Park City, Utah every year. Why is that?
Once again, demographically
But
speaking, it's going to appeal to a certain demographic. We're talking basketball, where it's
I mean,
like
but
90+%, not the people who go ski all the time.
But you think if it
Black people don't
was
ski?
in another location?
I said 90% of people don't ski all the time.
But so you feel if it was in another location that'd change things?
I think it would have helped. Yeah, you guys, we said it was a snooze fest, and the energy was lacking, and certain players not being involved. That may have nothing to do with the city that it's in, but there's still a certain energy that resonates. I mean, you in Chicago, it's going to be a different vibe. You in, New Orleans is going to be a different vibe. You in New York, different vibe. LA, different vibe. Denver, maybe. Portland, now you start getting a little questionable. Memphis, maybe. I mean, it's like part of that whole All-Star weekend is people going and looking forward to doing things that are tangential to what's actually happening on the court.
Right. You don't see those things.
But I'm saying that energy resonates through everything, through everybody.
All right.
I mean, I can say this, and I guess it's more so me being in attendance last year to this year, watching it on TV again. The game last year was I guess better. I was there live, so I don't know how it was for people watching. Steph put on a show last year, the stuff he was doing. But like the halftime show last year, as far as the 75, honoring the 75 greatest players.
That was the best part of All-Star Weekend last year.
This year?
Last year.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I was there. That shit they did for LeBron, they could have kept that shit this year. That shit was terrible. That was so trash.
What was I get they named the top three, but why did Karl Malone have to? What was the point?
But I don't even care about that. It was just weak.
You're in Utah.
It was just weak. The game was, I had it on, but it wasn't.
I turned it off. I started watching XFL.
I didn't even watch the XFL. But
so you're gonna talk about me, but the game sucked that bad. That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, the game, I just had it on. For one, I couldn't get TNT to pull up on my phone to screen it to my TV, so I had it on my laptop. So I was definitely barely paying attention. But
now I will say the other broadcast with Chuck and Kenny and Shaq and Ernie was pretty entertaining for the short period of time that I was watching, on Sunday night. That was pretty entertaining. That was it though. The actual play was terrible. I mean,
but that's been the case for years now, right?
And I get the argument is, well, it's an all-star game. It's not supposed to be ultra competitive. And I'm like, okay, but you can at least pretend to play some defense.
I mean, like Kobe, one of my boys sent me a clip of Kobe. What was this? Maybe like 2012, 2013. And he spoke on how the All-Star game is beginning to lack in competitiveness. And he like, man, guys are playing tougher at UCLA open gyms.
Right.
With no cameras around. And that resonated with me because that's the point when people say this era is so soft. They would do things behind closed doors with no cameras and things like that. But in that environment with all the cameras on them, they making it about staying healthy and all that. But I think it's a lot of pride and ego that's getting in the way of these guys competing. And that's it. Just my thoughts. Because they don't
want to take a L.
Somewhat. I mean,
want to get shown up by the other person.
I take it back to, you remember that exchange This was when Kyrie, I want to say, was either a rookie or a sophomore between him and I forget the boy name. Used to play with Milwaukee. He went all around the league. But him and Kyrie had a back and forth exchange.
Red?
Brandon Jennings?
Not Brandon Jennings.
Michael Red?
It's not Michael Red. No. I can't think of the guy's name, but him and Kyrie was going at each other. It was like for like 5 straight possessions, they was letting them basically go one-on-one. And Kyrie really embarrassed him, made him fall. And he was known for y'all remember the DeAndre Jordan alley-oop dunk?
Mayo?
No, it's not Mayo. Remember the Chris Paul threw the oop to DeAndre Jordan?
Yeah.
And it was the guy he dunked on.
Oh.
I can't remember his name. Like, let me put it in, because if you put in DeAndre Jordan oop, it'll show you who the person is.
It wasn't the guy that did that. It was a point guard before.
He was a point guard. Brandon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon Knight.
Okay.
But Kyrie had embarrassed him, made him fall.
Mm-hmm.
And he was known for that. For for most of his career until DeAndre Jordan basically Mortal Kombat finished him. He was hit with a flawless victory when DeAndre Jordan finished him. Like, and that's what it made me think about. Like, damn, like these guys might be a little afraid of getting embarrassed.
So well, you don't being shown up in an All-Star game. Yeah, what you're saying.
Yep.
But it's not necessarily all about
it sounds far-fetched, but
it ain't about going one-on-one. But you can still, you can still put a body on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
I mean, y'all love to talk about how skilled this generation is with their handle and all that. What good is you showing your handle if ain't nobody guarding you?
That's it.
I mean, Kyrie got the best bag, but you're dribbling on nobody.
And that's what it was.
It makes it pointless.
And then guys were literally stepping out of the way as you made your step toward the basket.
Yes, that's maybe I'm probably more wrong than I'm right on this, but I want to say for me, a couple things. One of the last better All-Star games I remember is when Scotty was trying to prove something. Like the All-Star game was kind of that thing for someone to prove something to other people. Like Kobe, I'm going to prove that I belong with you guys. When he was a young man getting there. Scotty, Michael's gone. I'm going to prove that I'm the best, if not the best player in the league. And, he had a hell of an All-Star game. Or sometimes if it was your hometown, they would sometimes they would try to get it for you.
Right.
Your teammates would cater. You get more, you might get more minutes, you might get more, looks, more passes your way, so on and so forth. But to me, I think the All-Star game, and it predates what I just said about Scotty, but I think it started to change more so when Magic came back and he was at that All-Star game after he had said he had HIV, and they weren't quite letting him take the shots, but they weren't really challenging him on the shots either. You know what I mean? It was kind of like faux attempts, and it seemed like it just seemed like an acquiescence began to happen at that point, and I was like, okay, Magic is shooting, but like nobody's really sticking you. I mean, it's like practice. You should be, you're a pro. You should be, hell, I could probably hit, half those shots that you're making. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed like, every 5 years or so that the All-Star game became less watchable for me because guys weren't really playing. And I know, get off my lawn, curmudgeonly old man back in the day, yada, yada, yada. But I would look forward to All-Star games. Football, basketball, and baseball, because there was some competition out there, and guys were trying to show that they were, I'm better. I'm among the best. I can differentiate myself among the best. This is where I can kind of see how much better I really am, or how much better I'm really not. Now, football is a little different because of the physicality, but the baseball, I mean, I just messed up. Dude messed up his ankle when Pete Rose came in all jacked up, at home plate. But damn, that shit's still memorable. That's when the All-Star game in baseball, it's like, dude, like guys were trying to win. Like the National League is better than the American League. What league are you riding with? And same thing with basketball. I remember it's the East against the West.
East and West, yeah.
Yeah, the East was always seen as more physical. The West was seen as more finesse. Which style of play is better? I'm like, hey, I always rock with the East, because that's where the Bulls were.
Right.
But before the Bulls became, Michael Jordan's Bulls, Isaiah kind of represented Chicago for me in a lot of ways. So I'm pulling for Isaiah. I love Dr. J. I want to see those guys. Okay, I can deal with Larry Bird just for the day, but I want to see the East beat the West. And you could tell guys were going to block the shots. It's like, and it wasn't like they were playing 100%, but you got a strong 90. Something even, competitive.
Even 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be palatable.
All. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's
but now,
yeah, it's gotten to a point, and it's like, and it just make you think, like you mentioned the other sports, and like baseball, it's the one sport, like, doesn't matter. You dogging it is you mainly just dogging it on a basis, because pitcher ain't gonna go up there and throw it 60 miles an hour for you to.
No.
They still gonna pitch. You still gotta hit.
You gotta hit, yeah.
Now they may ease up, like you say, on the coming around to the plate, soft and stuff like that. But then you remember when they had the tie, and that was like so big around the world. Like, how do you win the game in the tie? Right. Force them to change it to giving home field advantage in the All-Star game, which they took it away. But it was like, and then you look at basketball, it's like they can't do nothing. Now, personally, what I would love to see when it comes to basketball, make it U.S. versus the world.
I don't want that. Because I don't like that for the rookie game.
Because you're not gonna get the best.
They don't have that no more for the rookie game.
Well, they did back. That's why they
did.
They changed it. They did. Yeah. They used to.
They used to.
Well, they
should. Up until I think the Chicago game was the last time they did that. But my problem with that is you're not always gonna get the best guys.
Nope.
And then you're gonna have,
disproportionate amount of really good players sitting out.
Sorry for being an American, but right. some of my American compadres are gonna get forgotten about.
Hey man, look. Somehow
it's something.
Put
how do you
Giannis,
change
Luka, and B Joker all on the same team, and you can put some Americans with them. Somehow do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what the solution is, because you can't just throw money at the problem either, because these guys are making $40-50 million a year.
Yeah. Money ain't gonna
solve. It's not gonna solve that. I don't know what the answer to that is, but
do away with it.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe
do away with it. You know what came across my mind? Adam Silver's a soft commissioner.
Wow. Because
he's a soft commissioner, man.
Because
I mean, the players own him.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, well, we about to find out when this CBA come on.
But we got
we gonna find, but since he caters, I mean, it's a players' league. I get it. But some of this stuff just seems to be going too far, in my opinion. I can imagine if David Stern was still running the league, it wouldn't be a lot of the stuff that's taking place, in my opinion.
Stuff like what? Like what is he soft on?
He's the load management aspect has become such big time. Okay, he's considering shortening the season, adding a play-in. I mean, it's just a bunch of gimmicky things across the NBA now that, like.
Well, I think the play-in was because they're trying to make the end of the regular season more competitive. Because there's the time where, the pretty much all 8 seeds are.
I don't think so though. The play-in came about because of the bubble, because of how well like Phoenix and other teams played that was really not in the playoffs, but they were able to go to the bubble. That became such a big deal. They went undefeated and they're not even in the playoffs. And then the next year you had a play-in tournament. Like it's catering to like no, keep it 8 teams, man. We don't need all that. Like, and no, I don't care if the Bulls become a play-in team. I hope they lose. Shouldn't be in that position no way. Like top 8 or nothing. Like, I mean,
I hear you.
I don't know.
I could definitely do without it.
Forgive Smoke.
I'm with you on that.
I've been this year with NBA basketball. I've been kind of been on my get off my lawn when it comes to it, man. I'm just not. I don't know. Just not in the greatest place when it comes to basketball.
So you say just get rid of the All-Star game altogether.
Just get rid of it.
Let's get rid of it. We don't need it. Okay. I hear that. Because it's better than what was shown on Sunday night.
Best thing 2 years in a row. And it could be just my bias. It's been the HBCU game.
Which your guys
we pulled it out.
Pulled out a big victory over Southern.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think they needed to do a better job of promoting that game. Because I didn't even know about it until I was just flipping through channels and saw it on. But they could do a better job of promoting that. But yeah, it was good. It was a good game.
Yeah. Like I said, that All-Star thing lost me a long time ago. So
get rid of it.
Yeah. I mean,
get them a little break.
Yeah, maybe you kind of G League guys play at the All-Star game. Shit, I don't know. Since they dunk in the dunk contest.
They can play the dunk contest. Yeah. You might have something there. Also, over this break here, we finally got word that Lonzo Ball is out for the season.
Shocker.
We knew that was coming. So the Bulls, I guess they lost out on Russell Westbrook, who ended up signing with the Clippers after he was bought out. He was bought out by Utah. And then the Bulls end up signing hometown kid, Pat Beverly.
Yes.
From Marshall.
Bring on the foolishness.
You know what, man? I love him, man. Because he's just 100% honest, man. He tell you what's on his mind. He said he's gonna get up in Zach LaVine's ass.
Really? Okay. See, when you start talking so much about what you're gonna do, just
I believe him though.
Yeah. But he's one that we know is going to do.
He's going to. He's definitely going to.
Now the type of impact it might have.
Now he said that they're really good friends, and so that's why
Zach said
it's going to
he's been trying to get him here for years.
Yeah. So I can believe that. It's not like Pat's some guy that's just coming in that he doesn't know and is going to be hearing from, So I respect that. What's the point though? Is what is my thing though. Does that mean we're going? Are we going for it?
No.
Are we going for the plan?
No. I mean, maybe, but I say it's for entertainment purposes.
That's just for you. You're gonna be entertained.
It changes nothing about this team. They're still gonna be the same team now with a little spunk to them.
Yeah.
Now you go against what's that goddamn boy in Milwaukee?
Holiday? Not Holiday, but Antis?
No. You talk about
Point guard?
Duke.
Brandon Ingram.
No, the one that keep doing the
I'm
dirty stuff. Jared,
what is his name?
Grayson.
Grayson
Grayson Allen.
Now you play against Milwaukee and Grayson Allen, think he gonna do some bull crap. Yeah. It's gonna be a different response.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As far as having like your own Rottweiler on the team, right? To go after people. Outside of that, because he's not a true.
Outside of that, nothing's going to change.
He's not the kind of point guard that facilitates for his teammates. He hits an occasional three. He brings energy, all the other stuff, but like I don't see how the Bulls appreciably become this like playoff team that nobody wants to face in the first round or the play-in round. I don't think he brings that kind of offensive stability. But for attack dog purposes and entertainment, yes, it'll be nice to have. I mean, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of impact, in all seriousness, if he's going to be able to build bridges or burn bridges with his teammates. That's the thing that, 25 or however many games remaining, you could completely irrevocably lose your clubhouse with a catalyst like Bev being there. And what I mean by that is not so much that Beverly is taking the team away from the coach, but there's so much divisiveness in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. It's too hard to repair and become so fractured and fissured that you have on your hands going to next season a team that's not team oriented or teammate oriented.
This is perfect. What you just said is perfect. Because we are in a state of
limbo.
So, like, maybe he do what you just said and force the hand to blow this thing up. Or maybe he unite these guys in a way that they want to keep it together. It could be.
They can't.
It could be bad, or it could be.
They can't blow it up.
Bad.
I don't think they can blow it up.
Why
because
not?
Because then you're admitting failure. This is a regime. You're in the middle of your first contract, and they're going to be admitting failure right here.
Well, but sooner now than later. I mean,
right.
That makes sense. I just don't think that they're that aware. They're gonna try to ride this out as long as they can. I guarantee you. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna continue to wait for Lonzo. Obviously, not for this
his deal. 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the last half of that before he's traded again or cut or released or a whole bunch of DNPs by his name.
This is year two.
This is year two. Yeah, there was a 4-year deal.
Yeah, well, we'll see what it is going forward, man. But it did nothing for me. I didn't become like, oh man, like Russell Westbrook. If he had signed, I'd have felt like there's at least an opportunity here to try and see if point guard or how much the point guard position is not having one is really affecting us. Also, to just get an opportunity to see, can this team show enough intestinal fortitude to make a stretch run to make the playoffs? I don't think you get that with Pat Bev. I think with Russell, you at least, because Russell's determination to play, having point guard, I mean, hell, the man averaged a triple-double, so apparently he can pass the damn ball. So here's a guy who can facilitate the pass and help negotiate things and all that, but he also played under coach as well. So I think those things would have been more helpful in a hopeful sense, going forward. But with Pat Bev,
I wouldn't say hopeful. What I would have liked if we got Westbrook to see if Billy Donovan just don't know how to coach these guys.
It's possible.
Because, like I've said in the past, Lonzo wasn't just facilitating the offense like that. Most of his assists and orchestrating came off the break.
Transition, yeah.
So you get a point guard like Westbrook where you want the ball in his hands. I would have loved to see how that would have looked, and that would have just told me that the personnel really does not fit what Billy wants to really do, and he's just letting them boys go out there and play. Give it to DeMar and Zach and see what happens. So I would have liked to see it from that aspect, to see how the offense would have truly flowed with a point guard that wants to facilitate.
Right.
And you think no way this can happen with Pat Bev.
Hell
no. But you can go to the G League and find somebody. No, I don't know. I'm just being facetious. If a guy can come in and win a goddamn dunk contest, I don't see why we can't find somebody to push the ball up the field and pass. Didn't we have
Matt McClung at one point?
Yep.
Yeah, we had him. It's like we had.
He has played a grand total of 2 NBA games, one with the Lakers, one with the Bulls.
Yeah, we had Dinwiddie too. Look where he is now, in New York or Brooklyn, clowning. So, but yeah, I don't know. No, dude, Pat Bev doesn't move the needle for me. An unknown point guard who's got 6'3" to 6'5" with a wingspan, several inches longer than that would have me more excited than Pat Bev.
All right, there you have it. Let's move on to Eric Bieniemy news. For whatever reason, the Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator could not find a head coaching job. So in order to get out from under Andy Reid's shadow, he goes to Washington to become the Commandos offensive coordinator. Lateral move. And to this, I still don't understand why he has to prove himself much more, so much more than some past coordinators under Andy Reid that have got head coaching jobs. I don't understand why he's that guy. Well, wait, I do understand, but it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be that way, man. The way people are discriminated against is ridiculous. Just because he's short doesn't mean he can't be a head coach.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
That's what GM been saying.
Yeah.
Look,
it ain't right, man.
Look,
this is height.
Look, I saw the press conference. I don't know if y'all checked out the press conference today.
Yes, because Go ahead. I want to see what you're gonna say.
He cleaned up. He projected bigger and taller. He projected more than what he does when he wears his clothes with the sweats and he's on the sideline. He looks more frumpy. He looks more frumpy and dumpy. And guys are like, he can't be a head coach. He looks like somebody. Hell, he looked like he's the uncle that came to the barbecue not for the food but for the alcohol. He just he didn't quite have the look of a head coach.
He was very good running back though.
Not saying he wasn't. I'm just talking about perception, how people feel about when they see you, what it is about you is going to make them either lead or follow your lead or ignore you, whatever it is that you're saying. But today, that press conference, I promise you, I'm listening in all seriousness. I'm listening to the press conference. And I'm like, okay, so this is a dude who didn't interview well. Like, what part of the interview did he F up on?
Yeah,
because he slammed that press conference.
Look, hey, it's hilarious because before we came out, I was talking to Ez, and I was saying how got Coach JB from Last Chance U.
Okay.
He was the coach of the school in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a podcast and he be talking crazy about different topics. And he asked, he like, man, I thought they said Eric couldn't interview. He like, man, y'all take a listen to this and y'all tell me
right
what y'all hear. Cause the way he talking, he sure won this press conference. And then I'm listening, I'm like, damn. He like they was saying he was illiterate and all that. And like,
who said that?
That's what he said that people were saying about Bieniemy, that he couldn't interview, he was illiterate, all this, and he like, man, and his thing was just because they don't speak your language don't mean that they don't know how to talk or what they're talking about. But
that's that effing racism shit again, because it's so easy to believe that, oh, he's illiterate, so everyone buys it. Oh, he's illiterate. Oh, it must be the case. Black man's illiterate. Dude, I'm sorry. The head coach on the Lions, he seemed like a nice dude. I probably could play from. He seems like a meathead to me. I can't imagine his interview. He was using $64,000 words. I'm sorry. I'm sure he was pretty basic in the things he says. Right. And I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure he didn't come in there in a suit and tie. He probably came in there, probably cleaned up, nice polo shirt or something like that. But he wasn't in no suit and tie. That does not strike me as a man who wears a hell. He put a tie on. A tie be like, look, I'm uncomfortable around your neck. I'm going to tie myself and let you be free. He just does not seem, the head coach of the Lions, like he's the kind of dude that would interview well. But no one challenges it, because why? It's just assumed that, he's well-spoken or articulate or whatever. But again, someone says, whether or not it's true or not, someone puts that out there about EB, about him being illiterate, it's automatically widely assumed and accepted, again, without being questioned. And that's effed up. And you can't tell me, I can't even wrap my mind around the fact that this man went on 15 interviews to be a head coach and did not get one. 15 interviews to be a head coach. And why are he's illiterate. So a guy who's a college graduate is someone who's been a college head coach or a college coach. And then, so at an institution of higher learning, he was able to interview well. And then he goes to the pros, and he's been on several pro teams, several different positions. Seemed like he got several jobs, so he had to interview for those jobs, right? But somehow 15 times to be a head coach, all of a sudden he just can't put two words together. No, it's I don't know if it was something about his demeanor or personality, but basically, let's just call it what it is. It's just bullshit. It's a bullshit ass reason they gave for whatever reason, and I don't know why he became that guy. Almost like with Justin Fields. And I know I'm going all over the place, but with Justin Fields, it's just, here's a guy come out of high school, him and Trevor Lawrence, 1 and 1A. Goes to college, 1 and 1A. Doesn't lose a game at Ohio State. But then all of a sudden he goes from being like maybe a number 2 or 3 pick to some dude who is just falling. Why? One or two people say something. And Orlovsky with his punk ass, I'm saying stuff like, hey, just from what I heard, Justin's the last one in, the first one out. Really? That's really, really irresponsible of you to put that out there, because now it just feeds into whatever other narratives and tropes. Like, oh yeah, the other thing, oh, he can't read defense. He only throws to throws to his first read. Well, motherfucker, if the first read is open, that's what I'm gonna throw to. Hey, the play designed for him and he's open. Why would I wait? Nah, I'm gonna go for the second read. No, that doesn't make any sense. But they put it out there, and then you just start sliding. Like nobody challenges it. It doesn't go back. And I think the same thing happened to EB. He became, I joked earlier, he's like Susan Lucci of NFL football. Just can't win.
He was having he wasn't getting hired, and then you had, and this wasn't recent, that this now everyone is starting to acknowledge what Shady McCoy has said, because he said it on a big platform now. But he has said this in the past, but it didn't make mainstream news of how, and it seemed personal, the stuff he was saying. And like you say, all it takes is one person to feed the narrative that they want to be fed, and they're going to run with it. And like, I'm just with Shady, I'm glad this guy's coming out against that mug now. Like everyone's coming out, and I liked how how he even approached it. Did y'all hear that?
No.
Yeah, he basically just said, man, look, LaShawn McCoy is a Hall of Famer. Like, everybody's entitled to their opinion. He like, but I'm here to do my job. I'm only worried about what's going on inside these walls. He like, I'm not worried about that. He like, that's his opinion. Hey, here's what it is. He didn't like shoot back at him or none of that stuff. He acknowledged him as he's a great running back, potential Hall of Famer. And I'm like, that's how you respond. But it's like, it's stuff like that. Like, I get it. You're in the media and all this stuff. Like, be conscious of what you're saying. I don't care how personal it could be. Like, you're affecting somebody's livelihood. Like, when it's all said and done. Like that, and that's what makes people hate the media. You know, like, come on, man. I get it. That's your job, but you're a former player. Like that's the type of stuff I have issue with. Like you're a former player who's on here advocating for other players, saying that they deserve their money. Like that's the job. That's the nature of the business. Yet you're trying to block them. You're contributing to another man blocking his blessing.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. EB, takes kind of a lateral move. There's a little bit of upside because he's named the assistant head coach. So there's a little bump in pay, there's a little bump in, I guess notoriety from the position, so to speak, or a bit more, there's a little more weight added to that. And it's clearly the last step you can have before you become a head coach. But he's not the only one that kind of had to make a lateral move.
No.
Was it Van Joseph?
Yep.
Just had to go back to Denver, but who was originally was a head coach not that long ago. Mm-hmm. Like within 10-year period, he's a head coach, and now he goes back as a DC. And we're talking about what's the brother out in for the Rams, Raheem Morris?
Raheem Morris, yeah.
Okay, how are you not a head coach and your defense pretty much sealed the championship? And I know Stafford went on the last drive, but the guy calling that plays already has the job as the head coach and the offensive coordinator. But your defense had to stop one of the more prolific offenses in one of the up-and-coming quarterbacks.
Wait. Let's stop you, because you just said something that might go over people's head. The offense, because that offensive coach got a head coaching job.
Right. Right. Yeah, O'Connell.
And he was he calling plays?
He wasn't calling plays.
No. Exactly.
And Raheem Morris is another person who's just left out there hanging. And let's not, we talked about it before, but Leftwich, you've been in several playoff, and the court, hell, it's even more of a slap in the face in some respects, because Andy Reid, at least he's an established head coach, and the head coach's job is to do what? Coach, i.e. call plays, figure out, rosters, all that kind of stuff, right? Leftwich is being told he can't do that because Brady's the reason why Leftwich had success. Like, really? That's the only reason. The offense wasn't good before he got there. The offense was good. The quarterback was throwing interceptions,
right? But
the offense was good. And now this guy can't get a head. Not even a head coach. He can't even get a lateral job. Like, how are you not? I don't understand how quarterback or coaches who've won Super Bowls, not just participated, but won Super Bowls, are the ones struggling to get jobs. It makes sense. I don't quite get it. You remove everything else. What's the one thing that seems different? Skin color, man. I'm not trying to just but let's be real. Like, what's the difference?
And that's the thing. It bothers me when people really try to say it's not about race. It got to be about something else. Like, man, let's stop that, man. Stop giving these people a pass. Like, no, like, call it what it is. Like, call it what it is. The Eagles lost the Super Bowl and lost both coordinators.
Hold on, quickly. It wasn't even like they had to really wait.
It was the next day.
It was already a done deal.
The next day.
Brian Daboll lost in the AFC Championship game. I'm sorry, what even the championship game? It was the semifinals.
And to speak on Brian Daboll, and I know he's very highly stouted and everyone loves him and he's so great. But come on, man. Just like Shady McCoy, like I could tell you what Brian Daboll do. Yeah, he led an offense with a quarterback that threw 15 touchdowns. And everyone tells me my quarterback ain't shit, and he threw 17. So I'm sick of this praise for Brian Daboll and the Giants. They played a weak-ass schedule. Like, let's be real here. Let's see when y'all, because Daniel Jones is, which I don't understand, is trying to play hardball, telling y'all he won 40 plus million. but y'all in the media, Y'all been praising him. Oh, he's a top 10 quarterback. I ain't never known a top 10 quarterback to throw less than 20 touchdowns in a season. He threw 15 touchdowns.
Yeah, not since like 1974 did you see some stats like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
He threw 15 touchdowns, and they are, I mean, golly, like as you said it before, that East Coast bias is crazy. Like,
it's real.
This was his fifth year, right?
Yeah.
Because this was his option year, right? They did.
Yeah,
so
it's his 5th year.
For 4 years. First off, the man threw 20 plus touchdowns as a rookie, and y'all hated him in New York. I think he threw 24, and y'all hated him in New York.
Oh,
and he was pretty bad after that.
Yeah, he got progressively worse.
And then this year he throws 15, and y'all say this is his best season yet. Simply because y'all made the playoffs. Boy, I'm like, it's just funny to me.
And it's not unprecedented either. I was watching ESPN today, and Marvin Lewis was on, and I totally forgot this story. Marvin Lewis was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens in 2000. Remember the 2000 Ravens Super Bowl champion, arguably second greatest defense of all time. I'm not going to give them the 85 Bears because I'm a Bears fan. All right. So he stayed with the Ravens one more season, 2001. Could not find a head coaching job. So he had to go to Washington to become the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator under Steve Spurrier. Stayed there for one season and then was able to get the head coaching job in Cincinnati. Now that's unbelievable to me. He coached, and it's not like he had a defensive head coach in Baltimore. The head coach was Brian Billick, who was an offensive coach. So he ran that defense. Now, mind you, he had one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time. But still, he didn't get the opportunity as well. Now, it came 2 years later, but he had to make that lateral move to Washington in order to make it happen for whatever reason. It's got to stop, man. It's got to. I don't know when it will.
Well,
man,
what's also puzzling to me, and I guess I can rationalize why he took the job in Houston, but it's weird that Houston has actually hired 3 black coaches in a row.
Man,
go figure.
It is.
And if I'm Ryans, I personally would not have taken a job. I just wouldn't trust the organization and how they've been doing things. But it makes sense to me why at least I can rationalize why he took it. Obviously, he was drafted by them. He was the defensive face of the franchise before J.J. Watt got there. They do have 2 first-round picks this year. They have 12 total picks for this draft class. So he's probably thinking, I've got a lot of capital and I've got a lot of opportunity here.
And he signed a 6-year deal too.
Yeah, well, they've all signed multi-year deals, so
that helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. And I'm pretty sure they've got some cap money, especially once they get rid of Brandon Cooks. They'll have even more cap money. So he's probably looking at this as a good a spot as any, and he's going to have that honeymoon period, probably more than what Lovey had or David Culley, because he did play for the organization, and they probably hold him in a different type of light than they did the other individuals that preceded him. But I just wouldn't have taken the job of him. I just don't trust it. But it's weird to me that Houston has hired the most black coaches, as an organization than maybe anybody in the history of the NFL. I think about
3 in a row.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be.
Look, they say, look, y'all can hate how we doing it, but we're doing it.
But you can't say we're not providing opportunity.
Look, we might hire him and fire him quick, but guess what? We still paying him too.
Right, and it's crazy because that was an organization. It was a McNair, or I can't remember what was the owner of that.
McNair.
Bob McNair, right?
Yeah.
He had that horrible statement during the time where the kneeling was happening.
Don't let the prisoners run the asylum or
right?
something.
Yes, exactly. Let the prisoners run the asylums. Just like really? Don't let the inmates. That's what it was. Don't let the inmates.
Yes.
Yeah, don't let the inmates run the asylum. So, and they've had their issues, other racially, questionable issues in for that organization. So, but again, 3 black head coaches. They had a black quarterback. I mean,
It's just weird.
It's just it's weird, but it just goes to show you that not every situation. Fun on words here is black and white. But every you really do have to look beyond just what you're seeing and try and understand the history of something and what's being said and what's not being said. And sometimes what's not being said is the insidious part of it, and you're trying to find tangible answers, and it's tough because people are slippery with how they're covert and the things that they do, But it's like the Bieniemy thing. If there's anybody's name should be on that lawsuit against the NFL, it should be his. Because how is Steve Wilkes not coaching somebody's team this year? And how's he not a head coach? And that's the other thing too. A lot of black coaches who've been interim coaches, very rarely do they become a head coach, whether it's with the team that they were in the interim for or any other organization that could have seen what they've done. It's been very. I think the only person I can think of off the top of my head is the guy that was a former Charger head coach that is black.
Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lynn. Because he was the interim coach for the Bills, and then he left Buffalo and became the head coach for the San Diego Chargers still at that time. But more times than not, a lot of these interim coaches, especially the black ones, it's like they can do it. I think their winning percentage is higher. It's still a little bit under because you're taking over a bad team, but I think their winning percentage is higher. It's like around 39%.
Look at Carolina.
That's what I'm saying. Steve Wilkes. Yeah, he went 6-6 for a team that, was a losing team prior to then. They traded away 2 of their better offensive players. Their best offensive player, obviously, McCaffrey, and then they also traded the wide receivers to Arizona. So it's just, it's you hate to say and belabor it, but it's like even when you're 2 times you're twice as good, or your accomplishments are, obviously better than your peers' accomplishments. All those things, like we keep saying, the goalpost keeps getting moved. It's like you look like Bieniemy had a hard time listing his accomplishments at his press conference. He was like, 5 AFC championships in a row, 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls, and we won 2 of them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, what else I got to do? So that's my question to you guys. How do you guys feel about him taking that job in Washington? Is that a good move, questionable move, or a dead end move?
So initially, I thought it was a terrible move.
Why?
Because I felt he would have been better off staying at Kansas City and playing it out to when Andy Reid retire.
When is that going to be?
And that's where I changed. I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, you can't base your future on someone else's. And sometimes you got to just take a leap of faith. And only 1 or 2 things can happen here. You go over there and you succeed, the doors should definitely open. They should. Because if they don't, then I bet a lawsuit comes.
Then you sue.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I bet a lawsuit.
He's calling their bluff right now. Okay.
And the main thing was for me was that's already a bad organization.
Mm-hmm.
If you get there and things are still bad, they're going to ignore that they have been bad, period, and they're going to put it on you. See, we knew you wasn't doing nothing. So that was like what I was initially worried about, but I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, F it. they wasn't trying to give me opportunity anyway. So if things don't go good here, it is what it is. At least I got a little bit more money. Maybe Kansas City will hire me back, to do something. Maybe. Who knows? But if not,
XFL.
XFL.
Why not? Why not?
So what about
Be
you?
the poster child.
I think I said before, I think he's calling their bluff. Hey, you want me to get from under Andy Reid's shadow? Okay. I'm going to Washington now.
But
now, hopefully the offense runs the way he wants it to. At least if there, I think if there's just a little bit of progression from Washington's offense, I don't know how that's going to happen right now, but that's what the offseason is for. We'll see if they can, get a quarterback and some other offense. I think they got some weapons. They got some weapons.
I think as long as they don't just spiral out of control, I think he's the next head coach of the Washington Commanders.
You think he'll take over for Chico? No.
How long? I mean, Chico got a health pass, so we never know what's in store there. I mean, I don't know. Washington Commanders might not even exist in the next couple years.
That's very true.
We don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, it's a lot going on there. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. But if they make some strides and he doesn't get a head coaching job, then what's the reason? And so then I could see that lawsuit coming.
And I meant to say this last week, and I forgot to say it. But I could see two things happening very soon. One, I said it on social media. Ed saw it. I forgot to mention it last week. That Bieniemy's going to leave. Nagy's going to get elevated back to OC. And within the next 3 to 4 years, Nagy will be a head coach again in the NFL.
Well, part of that has already happened. Nagy is the OC now.
Exactly. So that has happened. I said that before Bieniemy even left.
Yeah, well, I told you. You could see him snaking. He was always up under Mahomes.
I said that before Bieniemy even left. And two, I can see this year the Bears make major strides. Luke Getsy will be gone. Mark my words.
As a head coach or?
As a head coach.
Well, if that happens, that means some good things happen here.
I'm just saying.
I would want that. The problem is
I wouldn't.
Now you got to get a new offensive coordinator, and you start pretty much all over again. Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
No, I don't either. But that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I want the Bears to make major strides, but I would hope everything could stay in place. But I'm telling you, they're gonna pull them. It'd be like just like Jalen Hurts.
Maybe you offer him, you give him another offer. Hey, just stay here for this. You got
to put him on that Kellen Moore plan. Jason Garrett plan.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good if they make some strides. Like I said. Hey, we brought up earlier when we first came on, we talking about the XFL, and we were half joking, but the couple games I watched, and I watched part of the game tonight. Seattle and St. Louis, I believe it was playing.
So they doing Thursday night game? So they play Saturday, Sunday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So tonight's game was on FX, which, by the way, I forgot that Disney, in their deal for 20th Century Fox, also purchased FX. I forgot about that. But the Thursday night games are on FX. I think the Saturday games are on FX, and the Sunday games are on ESPN. So good. I thought the broadcast coverage is good. There's some rule changes that I think I like, and I was gonna bring those up here, see what you guys thought. The first is the kickoff rules.
I like it. Soft.
I have no. I didn't say soft.
Oh.
No. I was out and they had it on. I was at a bar and they had it playing. And I'm like, man, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they? I'm like, what is going on here? And then when the kickoff happened, and then I'm like, whoa, that's actually safer.
It is. Oh, it totally is. It totally is, man.
I'm like, that's actually safer than the regular way.
Coming from my junior high school, I was on kickoff team or kickoff return team, and we were in practice, and I'll never forget this. Ball gets kicked off. We're going back to form the wedge, right?
Right.
Man, as soon as so when you form the wedge, basically you get to wherever your spot is that you're going to take off going the other way, coming back upfield. You plant and then go. As soon as I planted, the kickoff defender, Yuri Tang, I'll never forget this, was right in my face, man. And he came at me with the crown of his helmet, head first. Wow. And
oh man,
he didn't knock me down, but it was the hardest I ever been hit in my life. And my vision, I saw in three. Like I saw three different visions. If I'm looking at you right now, I saw three of you. And it was the scariest thing I ever felt in my life. And I remember somebody else telling me that they had done this before. And they said they hit their helmet and it, everything popped back in place. And I shit you not, each time I hit it, like my vision would collapse in until finally it all became one. The scariest thing ever. And that came from the fact that they were able to build up speed from the 35-yard line. And they, met me at we would have been at the 25-yard line, some 60 yards and knocked me out. So yeah, that's definitely safer. I know that for a fact. So I don't mind that. Honestly, if you're gonna do that though, you might as well just eliminate the kickoff, I think, and just give teams the ball to 20. I mean, what's the point?
Man, you break it there, you good, you gone.
Yeah.
Ain't no last line of defense.
Yeah, because everybody's right there, and the kicker ain't gonna get
No.
you. Guarantee you that. But it's an interesting rule. The second is the point after touchdowns. So you have three options. You can either take 1 point from the one. No extra point, by the way, no kicking.
No kick
extra point.
That's interesting. I like that, I think.
All right.
Yes.
So you go for 1 for the 1, 2 from the 5, or
No,
3
from the 2. 1 from the 2.
1 from the 2,
Mm-hmm.
2 from the 5,
right,
and then 3 from the 10.
10,
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it gives you it makes the end of the
and
game.
it makes the end of the games better, and it you got a chance for a 9-point play.
I would keep kicking in the mix too, though.
It's different. It's just different though.
I would actually say 1 point for kicking. I guess everybody would just kick.
Yeah, you would still take the point, I think.
Yeah,
for the most part. Now, end of the game, like I said, you can go for the 3.
Yeah.
All right. And then the other one is the onside. So in the fourth quarter, this is the big one.
Just a 4.
In the fourth quarter, you can if you're going to be kicking, if you score a touchdown, your kickoff, instead of going for an onside kick, you can take possession at the 25-yard line for a 4th and 15 play. If you convert on the 4th and 15, your drive continues. If you don't get it, the defensive team gets the ball at that spot.
Oh wow. Yeah, I knew I heard something like that, but somebody said it was an extra point. So they had it wrong.
What's
they
that?
had that wrong. They said the 4th and 15 was for the extra point. They had that wrong.
No.
I like that.
Yeah. And only in the fourth quarter.
I like that. 4th
I
and
think
15,
that can
one play.
It keeps some games interesting. Now, the problem is if you let's say you're up 18, which I think this happened last week, or you're up 12, team scores a touchdown, they get the 3-pointer, convert on the 4th and 15. And then they can either tie or or win the game. That could be an issue.
So are field goals still?
Yeah, you can still kick field goals. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, still kick field goals, but just no point after, no PAT for field goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to watch this week.
So I think it makes for I think all the games have been close. Have been really close.
Right. Yeah, even that really crappy one with St. Louis and San Antonio. Game super interesting. It was like arguably one of the best finishes, this year of sports. And I know it's been a short year, but of that weekend, it was one of the more memorable endings because of those rules being, changed to accommodate entertainment purposes. Actually becomes a strategic tool that gives coaches something to deal with, and it really makes, it can make a difference. It can work for you or against you. It seems kind of gimmicky. But then when you start seeing how if I'm behind, I have a great chance to catch up, or if I can have an opportunity to blow this team away going for 3,
right
now I'm up, two scores or whatever. It has some legs, man. And like you said, the whole thing with the kickoff, it still gives you the excitement of a return. Which has kind of been missing. I feel like they just did that because Devin Hester was scoring on their ass all the time. But but the collisions and all that stuff. So it's a little bit less speed, built up crashing in the body. So I'll give this. The XFL is trying new things, and when you're a new league like that, the football field is your canvas, and you can paint it however you choose.
Yeah.
And I think they learned from some of the mistakes of the first iteration of the XFL. And I think because of COVID, it really truncated what could have been a nice return of the XFL back in 2020. But now things seem to be a little bit better in place. They've worked out a few more kinks. And I'll say this, the players look engaged. I mean, sometimes some of these startup leagues, it's like guys are playing to play because this might be my opportunity. Here, I feel like the players, I don't know how much they have vested in the league. Like
probably I haven't watched the game, but it sounds like you're saying they look like they're playing like this is our league.
Yeah, like this is our league, and they're enthusiastic about it. And there's some relatively well-known players, either former first-round picks or high draft picks or guys who've been in the league.
Lynch.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch.
First quarterback to be benched in the NFL, the CFL,
and the
XFL, and the USFL.
Oh man. AJ McCarron is on St. Louis, I believe. Josh Gordon is on Seattle. So there's some names. There's definitely some names.
Maybe I guess they ain't drug testing.
But I say give it a chance, man.
I'm gonna have to watch.
Man. Check them out. Now I'm interested to see.
I ain't watching nothing else.
Is there room for 2 spring football leagues?
USFL starts.
The USFL is in April. They start in April, I think.
Okay.
So I think they start early April. So there's going to be some time where both leagues are playing. I think the XFL's championship is in May, like early May. So that's going to be interesting to see who survives. I know the NFL has some interest in the USFL.
USFL.
Yeah. So should be interesting. Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you can find a link to our podcast and the Super Duper podcast, hosted by Rob Griggs, and the Father Good podcast, hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, it's like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. We just don't think we're wrong.
Catch you next week.